said I was going to make this video a long time ago. I wanted to make this video a long time ago. I wanted to record it both before February 28th when Shadow of the Earth was released, and especially since it's been released. Hopefully, I'll try to make this video real short. Please. And I know this video is going to mean nothing because Miyazaki is going to do what Miyazaki wants to do at the end of the day. And press X to doubt anyone's going to see this anyway. So if you agree, appreciate it if you liked or shared. But anyway, please, FromSoftware, allow us to get at least one more Ash of War equipable on a single weapon. Right? Let us be able to use 2 Ashes of War on a single weapon. Please give us an item in the DLC that allows us to do that. How do we execute it? Same way we execute using multiple items. You hold down triangle, then you press L2 for the second skill. Whereas, of course, you just press L2 for the normal, for the first Ash of War. Similar as how you just press triangle or you press square to use whatever quick item you have selected, and then you hold down triangle and then press whatever to select your pouch to activate whatever is in your pouch. It's so awesome how many animations we have, how many effects we have by way of, different skills and Ashes of War and spells and all that. But especially, let me just stick to the Ashes of War. It sucks how you can only use 1 per weapon, Now, if you want to balance it specifically where you can't use 2 specific Ashes of War on the same weapon, I totally understand that. Royal Knight's Resolve plus Lion's Claw sounds OP AF. So maybe you don't let that be a thing, and if you do, you somehow make that not as strong as it would be, not paired together. I don't know what would be what the balancing around that would look like, but just a thought. Please, all the DLC bosses, make them difficult but fair. Orphan of Kos, Slave Knight Gale for most people, I assume. I was using the paired Ring Knight Greatsword, so I blasted through him. I almost killed him on my first try when I was playing the game for the first time, and then killed him on my second try. Those things are just so beautiful. I was interrupting him over and over and over again with the L1 attacks. But Nameless King, Sister Fried, or Frida, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce her name, but all those are challenging bosses, right? But they're also fair bosses. Melania, Radagon phase 2, and by phase 2 I mean like around 50% health, where he just starts teleport spamming and pew pew spamming the freaking rays of light he shoots out of his hand. Especially the teleport move with the aftershock and then quickly doing the thrust with the hammer, that combo. Like, you perfectly dodge one of them and you still get hit by the second one, Unless you use Quick Step or Bloodhound Step or whatever. Point is, and the Foreskin Duo as well, if you don't use Sleep Pots. All those bosses are so obvious that they were balanced around the player using Spirit Summons. Everyone can play the game however they want. I'm not judging anyone or critiquing anyone. I just don't want to use summons. And just like all the other previous games, whoever wants to use a summon can still summon players. And you'll find a player eventually, like Let Me Solar Her, where you'll be able to just sit down and have the boss be killed for you, right? I'm giving that as an example for how much of a skilled player you'll eventually get, or players if you want to summon multiple people. So having the game be more accessible, still people can summon players to help them out. So to balance the bosses around spirit summons, I don't understand why. I can't fathom it. Please, can we not? I enjoyed... My favorite game of all time is Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice. Second favorite game of all time, Dark Souls 3. Third favorite game of all time, Bloodborne. I would say I like Bloodborne more than Dark Souls 3, but the Ring City DLC is just too good. Of course, the Old Hunter is too good. My favorite boss of all time is Orphan of Kos, though. With Dark Eater Madir, Slave Knight Gale, Ludwig, all being a close second. It's hard to choose among them to say a second favorite for sure. Also love Champion Gundyr, Dragon Slayer Armor, Lady Maria. Anyway, although Lady Maria, for all the hype she gets, I've never had any trouble with her. I've always just been good at being patient to, when to dodge her charge up attacks or delete attacks. So she's never been a problem for me, really. Please, can we get the DLC bosses be very challenging but fair for a solo fight? I want to go in there. The way I have fun is me versus the boss, period. Learning the correct dodge timing. For there to be enough of a punish window for me to be able to actually get damage in. Melania was so game-breaking in a lot of aspects. She just didn't follow the rules that other bosses did. There are plenty of videos talking about how she's broken. But right now, she's my favorite boss in the game. Because I've watched like 1,000 videos of people just fighting her, whether they're doing cosplay builds, blind playthroughs that I've been watching. I've watched so many videos of people fighting Melania. And now I know her where I can hitless her. So I'm currently doing my PC playthrough, so once I get to her, I'll be trying to hitless her first try, hopefully. But point is, I don't want to fight her for 20 hours or 5 days straight before I can know all that. At the end of that, I'm not going to feel excitement and thrilled that I overcame a great challenge. It'll just be despair of why did it have to be that tough. And I wouldn't have been so annoyed if it wasn't the fact that she heals back health. I just hate that mechanic, but that's just more so a personal thing. I hate when bosses heal back health. But anyway, I hope and beg and pray we get solo bosses balanced around people fighting solo. Give us good, decent punish windows. The boss being able to chain almost infinitely different combos. Please, let's not do that. The game's not fun anymore. I hate this dodge a million attack combo, get one hit in, a quick R1 or a jumping R2 or something, and then quickly go away. It's not fun. Which is why I didn't enjoy Elden Ring as much as the previous games. So yeah, those are the main two things of this video. I hope we get at least the combat variety, right? How much more it adds to the combat variety if we can equip one more Ash of War on a weapon. For specific weapons where you can't change the Ash of War, which I think is stupid in the first place. I feel like we should be able to change the Ash of War on any weapon we want. If you want to say you can't put a unique Ash of War on a non-unique weapon, for example, the Mariah's Executioner Sword, right? The freaking twirly twirl red telekinetic attack Ash of War. Say you can't, if you want to tell me you can't put that on a Claymore, I totally get that. But we should be able to change that out on the Mariah's Executioner Sword itself to whatever else a normal, average Ash of War that can be equipped on any weapon. Because, for example, the Inseparable Sword, the Sword of D, right? Hunter, the twinned armor set guy. The fact that it's Sacred Blade and that you can't change that irritates me so much. Sacred Blade is fine and all, but it's not that unique. It's not unique at all, I should say. You can equip that on any other greatsword, period. So to have that be the Ash of War on there that you can't change it is dumb to me. But it would be awesome if we could change the Ash of War. If you want to say, like I said, you can't put a unique Ash of War on another weapon, that's fine. I can understand that, 100%. So please allow us to equip more than that one Ash of War. 3 would be great, but I feel like that'd be too much for PvP. I just feel like it would add so much more enjoyment and variety if we could equip one more Ash of War on a weapon. So 2 Ashes of War on each weapon. L2 to activate it normally. Hold triangle, press L2 for the secondary Ash of War. Boom. I imagine that wouldn't be that difficult to implement. That and balancing bosses around, DLC bosses around solo. I'm hoping we get at least 3 legacy dungeons for the DLC. Maybe that's asking for too much. If we can get at least 2, and they're absolutely enormous, and one of them is even bigger than Lane-Dell, which is the biggest legacy dungeon in the game. At least I feel like. I'm not sure, but it certainly feels that way. Lane-Dell is my favorite game level of any game I've ever played. So beautiful, so large, so intricate. On first playthrough, it seemed never ending, Usually after I play a game, I wish there was more, but Lane-Dell, okay, yes, I do wish there was more just because I'm so used to it and I know every little nook and cranny now, but I'm not really hungering for a bigger Lane-Dell. It's big enough. It's satisfying me. It has satisfied me. And just as the game itself, the other big issue is how big the open world was. And I've touched on this in previous videos as well, so anyone who watches my video, the 2 people that watch my videos, be maybe a little bit repetitive here, but I just want to include this for this specific video as well. Please, if we can have the DLC be more focused on what FromSoftware is best at, linear level design, huge legacy dungeons, and a more compact, dense, more content-filled open world. I absolutely love what the open world, at least one portion of the open world, which I'm assuming we're just going to get one open world area in the DLC. It would be bonkers if we got more than one, but we'll see. The wheat field with the phantom gravestones. Oh, I love that aesthetic. With the burnt or death blighted big tree, either a Erd tree or a Halig tree. Big speculation on which. People thinking it's the Helfen. Maybe Miquella's Halig tree, super corrupted. I don't know. I initially thought it was the Erd tree just because the DLC is called Shadow of the Erd tree. And I initially thought, when I saw it was Scarred Black or Charred Black, I thought it was right after the events of the game, so a sequel, We burned the Erd tree, flames went out. But upon closer inspection and after some videos I watched, it looks like it's death blighted. There's like a goat sap oozing out. Anyway, either way, it's obvious the DLC is going to be Miquella based around Miquella. That's who's in the video. 99% sure of that. So Miquella and Godwyn, I'm sure, will also play a role in it, which everyone already knew that was going to be the case anyway. I thought the DLC was going to have the Land of Reeds, though, so I'm a little bit disappointed because I'm thinking that's not going to be the case now. Although if it's super enormous, which I believe it will be, and it actually gives us more than one open world area, I'm guessing besides this core wheat field area that we got with the image, I'm going to guess the other places, Land of Reeds, and all the enemies are going to be samurai themed, so the Sekiro DLC we never got. Big Sag, I will never recover from the fact that Sekiro Shadows Die Twice did not get DLC. And obviously, Melania was supposed to be Lady Tomoe for the DLC before it got scrapped, which is why she feels like a Sekiro boss, because she literally is a Sekiro boss. We just are still limited as the Dark Souls player, so we don't have the toolkits like Deflects or even the quick dash of Bloodborne and super quick, fast-paced combat of Bloodborne. I just wish so much that we were able to get Bloodborne dashes, and that's actually another thing. I hope we get an item. I wish we get an item in the DLC. Maybe it's like a consumable. We pop it, 60 seconds, we have a Bloodborne dash instead of a regular dodge roll. Come on, FromSoftware, please. I'm going to pause the recording real quick just to see if there's anything else I wanted to add, but that's pretty much it. I hope we were able to get more than one Ash of War and a weapon. I hope the DLC is more focused on legacy dungeons than open world. Give us one good open world area, the Whitfield area, but no more super repetitive ruins and a random tower, a fort or something, and just the super repetitive 10 Erdtree avatars and Erdtree spirits and dragons like a Gil. Please let it be unique. DLC is always the most exciting, the best part of these games, right? Freaking old hunters. Before I started playing Bloodborne, and as much as I wanted to avoid spoilers, trying to go into it blind, I did hear names like Ludwig and Orphan of Kos and Lady Maria of the Astral Clock Tower, although no one ever asked the Astral Clock Tower, I just did. And Ludwig, or Lawrence, the first Vicar. When I was playing the game, and I almost completed the game, and before I went to DLC, I was thinking to myself, or I was a good bit into the game, and I didn't encounter any of these bosses that I've heard their names before. And I didn't see anything, I didn't see them in a video or anything, like I said, trying to go in blind, but I heard their names, and I was like, where are these bosses? And I come to find out all these bosses that are so epic are all DLC. Lawrence, Lady Maria, Orphan of Kos, Ludwig, all DLC. And of course, Sister Fried, freaking Gale, Demon Prince, and the Demon from Below, Demon in Pain. I love that boss too. That boss is like top 5 favorite boss in the whole game. So it's like a mini Dark Eater Midir with the moveset, except with the big fireball attack, depending on which demon you kill, which is also so epic, dude. It's just Gale. They're so good, and they're all DLC. So yes, I believe that the best bosses in the game will be DLC. I just hope it's not spirit summon balanced. It's just, where's the fun in that, you know? Spirit summons make it too easy. Solo is unfairly difficult. Why? So easy, spirit summons are easy for anyone who's fairly competent in the game, who's been playing these games for a while and quote unquote gets it, you know? To not always just panic roll, look for enemy patterns, when to attack, when not to attack. You do all that and you have a plus 10 mimic tier. The boss isn't difficult at all. You just melt them, especially if you're using super powerful gear and, you know, weapon spells yourself. It's just, these are not, Elden Ring isn't, yes, I'm just complaining, right? Just bitching. Elden Ring isn't what I was expecting. It was a letdown in the combat sense. Having to wait 20 seconds for a boss to be done with combo after combo just to get in a quick hit and then backing off again. Whereas Sekiro, you're such a badass standing there, deflecting, jumping over attacks, Mikiri countering attacks. You feel so engaged. It's so immersive, so engaging, so exciting. You feel like such a badass. And I was so out of my mind excited for Elden Ring because I was just thinking, imagine that, being able to deflect, or if not deflect, some other kind of, you know, negating damage from the boss besides dodge rolling. You know, something like a God of War, press R3 and L3 together, you enter a rage mode. You know, maybe like some kind of like Balding Blessing, except, you know, but even much stronger, where for a period of time you're able to tank hits from the boss, or maybe not the strongest of hits from the boss, but most hits from the boss. Able to get in there, being able to land 4 R1s in a row with a greatsword, for example. When are you ever going to get that off, especially on late game bosses with such little openings? 4 R1s in a row. No reason it's even in the game. You're not going to get it off unless you're using a spirit summon. Again, trivializes the whole thing anyway. There's no fun, there's no challenge, it's not a dance, you know? There's no rhythm. Anyway, I think I've made my point. The fact that when the game came out, it was just the same old, same old. I was just super disappointed by the fact that we didn't even have a visible posture bar like Sekiro. Okay, yeah, there's stance breaking, but it's invisible, like it was in Dark Souls 3, you know? One man can only dream. And actually, after I wrote out whatever I wanted to talk about in this video, patch 1.09 dropped, buffing most stuff, nerfing some stuff. I love the direction that, you know, this patch took the game in, which is more aggressive gameplay encouraged in terms of making greatswords, for example, quicker, I believe. I'm not actually 100% certain about that, but reducing the recovery of the attacks as well, which is another huge thing I want to talk about, right? Quicker recovery is you attack, you're able to dodge out of the way in time. But being able to it would be so epic to have super fast dodges. Even if you're not going to let us get, reduced recoveries, having a dodge roll, which allows us to dodge roll 2 times in a row so quickly that it's not just with bosses having chain attacks, like I said, what's the example I gave earlier? I forget what the example I gave earlier was, but the one where Radagon, he teleports and then appears again. There's a burst AoE, wide AoE, and then he comes in with the hammer thrusting attack where you dodge one perfectly, you still get hit by the other one. Another example is Margit or Morgat, the quick dagger attack if you're in front of them, where if you dodge the first one, you still get hit by the second one, unless you dodge very specifically where you're able to dodge roll both at the same time. I'm just trying to think of ways to be able to escape damage more efficiently, as opposed to just the solution being assault with spirit summon, and then you don't have to worry about it at all. Last thing I'm going to touch on, please, can we get wings for Torrent in the DLC? Literally make him a Pegasus. Then after we complete the DLC, or a certain portion of the DLC, after that we can just fly everywhere. How epic would that be? I know it's not going to happen. Super long shot. It's just not going to happen. And flying would be double the speed of sprinting with torrent. I've just seen some recent videos, people modding the game, where kind of Harry Potter mod. Harry Potter. Yeah, that's correct. Harry Potter. I don't know why I thought I said something wrong there. A Harry Potter mod, where there were just flying mounts, and other mods that have a flying mount as well, and which is basically just torrent but different model with wings. It was so beautiful, so beautiful. So if we could get something like that in game, it would make the open world so much more enjoyable for me, because after a first playthrough, the open world loses its luster, in my opinion. It's no longer, it just becomes a vast space you have to just traverse, and it takes a while. It's boring. I don't know, that's just how I feel about it. But yeah, that's not gonna happen. But hopefully let us equip 2 Ashes of War on a weapon, balance DLC bosses around, people fighting them solo, and have the DLC focus more so on legacy dungeons than the open world. Please. That's my wish, and I'm sure the wish of most people that have played your games, that have played FromSoftware games prior to Elden Ring's huge success and all of the fans that it has brought in since. Thank you. And if you also agree, I appreciate a like and a share, and just for the hell of it, I'll send this video or message FromSoftware on Twitter. I'm sure nothing will happen. Nothing will come from this. And at the end of the day, even if Miyazaki did somehow see this, he does whatever he wants anyway. But still, I just love these games so much that what I see as flaws, or a worst something that they regressed, a regression from the previous games in terms of quality, I'm going to talk about it. I just feel that passionate about it. Let's reduce the repetitiveness of ruins, catacombs and stuff, fine. But in terms of the open world, if it's don't make it that big if you can't put enough unique stuff in it. There's so much enemy variety and variety in general, no matter what, in the game. And yet the game is so big that there's still a bunch of repetitive stuff, which just lowers the overall quality, especially for main bosses like Godric. And yeah, please, let's just condense the open world, put more content in it so it's not just open space. But if you're going to do that, have it not be repetitive either. I don't know. It's just, I hope the DLC is vastly different from the base game. I want it to be darker in tone, which it looks like it will be, based off of just that one image we got. So I'm super excited for that. I know it's Elden Ring, it's not Dark Souls, but I guess what I didn't realize I missed, because this whole time I've been playing the game, there was something irking me, something that I was missing. And I guess that's just the darker, grayer tones of Dark Souls I didn't know I loved so much. I know this is pretty Souls, vibrant Souls. Elden Ring, it's its own thing. I just hope the DLC is radically different from the base game. Thanks for watching. Peace.